In this video, I want to talk about 5 of my favorite stops on a sailing charter in the British Virgin Islands. Now keep in mind, these are in no particular order and they are not all must-stop destinations on every single charter, although a few of them are. First up is the most popular stop in the British Virgin Islands, and that is the Baths. The Baths is a national park, and I personally think is a must-see on every charter, whether it's your first or 100th trip to the BVI. There are many ways to enter the Baths, and I've made a video about that previously, which I'll link in the card above. My personal favorite is to get there early in the morning, grab a mooring ball, which you can stay on for up to 90 minutes, drop the dinghy into the dinghy line, and then swim the remainder of the way in. If you have time, I'll also recommend grabbing lunch up at the top of the Baths. However, remember you only have that day use mooring for 90 minutes. Another one of my favorite stops in the British Virgin Islands is the Bitter End Yacht Club, located in the North Sound of Virgin Gorda. Ironically, this is typically where we stop after the Baths on a counterclockwise itinerary. There's just something special about the Bitter End Yacht Club. The rebuild from the hurricane continues, and it is absolutely beautiful. You can pick up a mooring ball, grab a slip at the marina, and enjoy multiple water sports, dining, and provisioning options that Bitter End offers. It's a great place to spend at least one full day, if not more, when in the North Sound. It's also a great spot to launch over to Sabre Rock from, Walnut Bay, or Leverick Bay, all accessible by either your dinghy or the launch service that is provided by Bitter End. Number 3, in no particular order, is the island of Anegada. Now, this is one of those that you might not hit on every trip because it's going to depend a lot upon your crew and the weather. Anegada is located about 14 nautical miles north of the most northern point of Virgin Gorda. It's a lot different than all of the other islands in the BVI, as it's a coral island and sits at a very low altitude, almost right at sea level, compared to the other volcanic islands in the BVI. If you're looking for a great, longer sail and a quieter environment with beautiful beaches and incredible lobster dinners, I highly recommend putting Anegada on your itinerary. My next stop is also not for everyone, but it's on my must visit every time I'm in the BVI, and that is the Soggy Dollar bar in White Bay on Jost Van Dyke. Soggy Dollar can be more for the party scene, however, White Bay is absolutely beautiful. The white sands, the clear water, it's a beautiful place to hang out and spend the afternoon, even if you're not drinking painkillers. However, I do recommend grabbing at least one painkiller at Soggy Dollar Bar. I personally think they're the best in the BVI. I mean, it's where it originated. So if you haven't been, at least check it out once. It may not be every trip for you, but it's every trip for me. The last of my 5 must-see spots in the BVI is the Indians. The Indians is probably the most beautiful snorkeling spot in the BVI and is located just outside the bight off of Norman Island. Again, if we're doing the counterclockwise itinerary, we typically stop at the Indians between Soggy Dollar and a stop at Norman Island. The healthy and vibrant reef at the Indians makes for wonderful snorkeling and diving, and there's even a fun little tunnel that you can free dive through. So those are 5 of my favorite stops in the BVI. Again, depending on how much time you have in the BVI and the interests of your crew, you may or may not stop at these every time or at all. That's up to you. And there are many other stops and activities that we enjoy as alternates to these stops or between these stops on the same itinerary. I hope this video brought a little value. If so, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe as I release more BVI and general sailing videos in the future to help you plan, enjoy, and relive your sailing adventures.